Hello, friends. Today I want to chat with you a bit about the news. Many of you will have already heard that we will be returning to in-person worship on November 28th, the first Sunday in Advent. This is an exciting time for many of us, and it is also a time that is likely fraught with anxiousness and some feelings of vulnerability, maybe even grief. It has been 20 months since we've had the opportunity to gather together in this building, in this sanctuary. And lots has changed during that time. We have changed. And that's why it's so important, I think, that we don't come back anticipating that things will return to normal, that it will go back to what was. We can't go back, nor should we. We have learned so much during this time, and those learnings will guide us as we consider how to move forward. We are moving into something new, and as of yet, we don't really know what that will be. We do know that folks feel less safe than they used to. Months ago, we had to learn how to live with physical distancing, with not shaking hands or hugging or even touching those around us. We've had to learn how to not crowd each other in grocery stores and how to keep a bit of distance when we talk with each other. We've had to learn how to wear masks. Many of us have had to learn technology to be able to do our jobs and participate in meetings, events, homeschool our kids. And some of these things we will continue to do. We will just do them together. And it's much more challenging to respect boundaries, to not shake hands or hug someone when they're standing right in front of you and you really want to hug them. I think that's going to be a challenge for many of us. And it's so awkward and uncomfortable when someone moves in for a hug and you aren't feeling comfortable to receive it. How do you handle that? What do you say? We need to practice setting boundaries and practice respecting the boundaries of others. And to be honest, this was a challenge long before COVID. There has always been a clash of people who aren't comfortable with hugging and people who just live to hug others. And now we are just more aware of it. Anyway, things have changed. We have changed. And I'm not sure we fully know yet the extent of those changes. So we move forward with excitement and anticipation and with a little caution. And maybe we can practice moving forward with curiosity. For me, curiosity creates more of a sense of openness. Being curious is different from worrying. We're asking the same questions, but it's the difference between, what if I'm uncomfortable, and what if I'm uncomfortable? None of us know what to expect when we come back. Worship will be more or less the same as it always has been, and yet it will feel different. I'm certain of that. The other thing I've been reflecting on a fair bit is the impact of returning to worship on those in our community who are most vulnerable. For those who perhaps hold more caution about being in person. Some, but certainly not all of us, will be coming back. There will be some who continue to watch the online live stream. And I'm quite sure there will be some young families who will not yet feel safe bringing their children. So how will this feel for them? We will no longer be doing the pre-recorded worship each week, and there is some safety in that format. We have control over the technology, and so if we make a mistake, we can redo it. Not that we ever really make mistakes, but if we could redo it. Once we are in person, we will be moving fully to the live stream format. And this will be great in so many ways. Folks in person and at home will have the ability to worship together in real time. But no matter how much we test or do sound checks or make sure the cameras are working properly, technology will fail us from time to time. And when the live stream fails, those at home will still have the opportunity to watch a recording of the worship later. But that no doubt will be disappointing for some. Anyway, what I'm trying to say is that things will be different. They may be awkward at times. I'm sure our sanctuary will feel empty as we limit numbers. We're only allowing for 75 at each of the 9:15 and 11 a.m. services. It will likely feel strange for anyone who chooses to stay after worship to visit without a cup of coffee or juice. But after several months of maybe we've just become more used to it and things will just feel normal in their awkwardness. The full details of our reopening plan will be available to all of you very soon, hopefully this week. But I'm going to give you just the Reader's Digest version. As I mentioned, we'll be resuming 2 services, 9:15 at 11. Our plan is to set up all the chairs, but to limit the number to 75 people so folks can self-select how much physical distance they are comfortable with. Masks, of course, will be mandatory. Everyone will need to pre-register for worship by Friday each week, and will need to show proof of vaccination either at the time of registration or on Sunday morning prior to worship. Children will go directly to the multipurpose room when they arrive for Rainbow Village, and they'll remain there until their parents pick them up at the end of the worship service. And youth group will just continue on as it has been. So, stay tuned for more details of how to register and other specifics about worship. And as you learn of the requirements for in-person worship, please know that every decision has been made through careful process of discussion and discernment. The Building Access Task Group has been extremely thorough and diligent in their recommendations to the board, and the board spent a significant amount of time in discussion with an abundance of caution and concern for those who are most vulnerable, considering the best scientific knowledge at our disposal and in the spirit of love and compassion. There will no doubt be those awkward moments as we adjust to new protocols and practices. There will be times of frustration and disappointment and grief, and we will have countless opportunities to practice the spiritual gifts of patience, of kindness, gentleness, self-control, and grace. And there will also be blessings, many blessings. And it is my hope that these blessings will occupy the majority of space in our minds and in our hearts. And it's also my hope that we will hold close to our faith in God and in each other as we receive the blessings and work through the challenges of this time in the life of our community of faith. As I mentioned earlier, we will return on the first Sunday of Advent, the Sunday of Hope. And weeks before knowing when we would be returning to worship, Deborah and I chose a resource for Advent from Sanctified Art. And the theme for this Advent will be close to home. When something hits close to home, it affects us deeply. Home is both physical and metaphorical, something we seek and something we are called to build. God is our home and resting place. God draws near and makes a home on earth. Sacred ground is all around us. During Advent, we will journey through scriptures and rituals that are tender, heavy with emotion, and vulnerable. The close to home theme acknowledges the already but not yet tension of our faith. Emmanuel is with us, and yet God's promised day is not fully realized. It names our deep longing for God to come close to us. So as we move closer to coming home to our sanctuary space, may we be comforted by the one who dwells intimately with us. May we offer safety and sanctuary for everyone wandering far from home. May we come home, wherever home is found, to live fully with joy, hope, and courage. Have a wonderful week, everyone, and God bless.